So, what if I told you that almost everything we think we know about discipline is, well, kind of wrong? You know, the whole wake up at 4 a.m., grind nonstop, force yourself to do things idea? Turns out, that's just scratching the surface. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on what the most successful people, the top 1%, really understand about discipline. And trust me, it's probably not what you're expecting.
On one side, you have the common view, what 99% of people think. It's all about brute force, hard work, and you absolutely need to feel motivated to get started. But then you look at the 1% view, and it's like a whole different operating system. It's about showing up even on the bad days. It's a quality that works whether you're motivated or not. It's something way, way deeper than just willpower.
So that begs the question, right? What is real discipline? What's the secret? To figure that out, we're not going to look at some productivity hack or a new app. Nope, we're going to dive into an ancient story that holds the entire key.
Okay, let's set the scene with something called the parable of the king. Picture this. You've got a wise king in a thriving kingdom. He's lost his most prized possession, a priceless emerald, and he has 3 of his best ministers who are about to walk into a test they have no idea is coming.
So, who are these 3 ministers? Well, first there's the guy known for being an absolute workhorse. Then you've got the one who's celebrated for being incredibly smart. And then there's Damon. For reasons nobody else could quite figure out, Damon was the king's absolute favorite.
So why Damon? Why was he the favorite? It wasn't because he was a suck-up or just putting in long hours for show. It was for this quiet, almost invisible quality. This deep-seated discipline that made him do the right thing, the thorough thing, even when he was totally alone. And you can bet the other ministers were just burning with jealousy over it.
So the king, being a pretty smart guy, decides to deal with this jealousy and teach a huge lesson at the same time. A brand new road has just been finished, and he tasks his 3 top ministers with a simple job: go inspect it and report back. This was their moment to shine.
First up is the hardworking minister. This guy walks the entire road, on foot, under a blazing sun. He comes back and says, it's perfect, except for one little spot with some debris. Next, the intelligent minister. He thinks, I can do this smarter. He takes a carriage and some soldiers. He comes back looking very proud and says, I did even better. I found 2 problem areas. And then there's Darman. He also reports 2 problem areas, but he takes way, way longer to come back than anyone else.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If Damon found the same number of problems as the smart guy, what on earth was he doing with all that extra time? The answer to this question is the very definition of real discipline.
See, Damon didn't just do the job he was asked to do. He inspected the road, he found the 2 messy spots, but he didn't just make a note of it. He took ownership. He and the soldiers with him got to work and physically cleaned up every last bit of debris, all the stones, all the trash. He only went back to the king when the job wasn't just inspected, but when it was done.
And his report to the king? It was so simple but so powerful. He just says, Your Majesty, the road is now completely clean and ready for use. And then he holds out a small object and adds, Oh, and while we were cleaning, I found your lost emerald. And the king just smiles. Of course he smiles. He planted the emerald there all along, knowing that only the person with true discipline would actually do the work to find it.
This story is so much more than just finding a piece of jewelry. It's basically a masterclass that unpacks the real, hidden principles of discipline. So let's break down the 7 huge lessons that Damon's actions teach us.
Yep, we can pull 7 powerful, game-changing lessons from this one simple story. Lessons that really separate that 1% mindset from everybody else.
Lesson 1 is maybe the most important. Extreme ownership. The first 2 ministers saw the trash on the road and thought, that's someone else's problem. They identified it, they reported it, and they figured their job was done. Damon saw the trash and made it his problem to solve. Real discipline starts the moment you stop making excuses and start owning the outcome.
Lesson 2 really hits home. There are no bad teams, only bad leaders. I mean, think about it. The other ministers had soldiers with them too, but they just used them as bodyguards or drivers. Damon understood that real leadership, which is a huge part of discipline, is about using every single resource you have to get the mission accomplished. He didn't just work hard, he led.
Oh man, lesson 3 is a big one. Ego is the enemy. You can just hear the excuses the other 2 ministers would have made if the king had questioned them, right? Well, I didn't have shovels, or Cleaning isn't a job for a minister. Their ego is all about protecting their status. Damon put the mission first. That's at the core of the 1% mindset. You have to be willing to put your ego aside to get the real work done.
All right, lesson 4, self-command before control. After walking that whole long road, Damon had to have been tired. He had every excuse in the book to just head back and file his report. But he chose to do the hard work anyway. And that right there is the heart of discipline. It's the power to act on your decisions, not on your feelings. Motivation comes and goes. Self-command is a skill you build.
And lesson 5 is all about working smart, prioritize, and execute. Damon didn't try to haul every big rock by himself. He looked at the problem, figured out what he could do, and then organized the others to get the rest done in the best way possible. Discipline isn't about just mindlessly grinding. It's about seeing the clear path forward and making sure the job gets done right.
I love this one. Lesson 6 is about taking initiative. Own your lane. Now remember, the king's order was just to inspect the road. He never, ever said, clean it. Damon acted without being told because he understood the intent behind the order, to have a safe, ready-to-use road. The 99% wait for instructions. The disciplined 1% see what needs to be done, and they just do it.
Okay, so all of these lessons, ownership, leadership, leaving your ego at the door, they all build up to one final massive and kind of mind-bending idea. They lead us straight to the great paradox of discipline.
And here it is. This is the whole shebang, the secret that the 1% truly gets. Discipline doesn't bind you, it frees you.
I know it sounds totally backwards. We're taught to think of discipline as a set of rules, a cage. But in reality, it's the key that opens the lock. The discipline to manage your money gives you financial freedom. The discipline to take care of your health gives you the freedom of having energy and a long life. It gives you more time, stronger relationships, and in the end, way more freedom.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about trying to change your entire life in one day. Just for a moment, look around your world, at your job, at your house, in your own head. What's one small piece of debris that you can take complete 100% ownership of right now, today?